Yo, welcome to the Blue Lounge, welcome to the stream. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic evening. Big up to everyone. I've seen you guys in the chat for quite some time. I do apologize for being 5 minutes late, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Again, I apologize. We had some discussion, debate, preparing the stream. We have some new options and new features that will be active very shortly on the stream that will make it a lot more interesting. So we were discussing that, me and the boys backstage. Big up to Stephen first in the chat. Actually, no, that doesn't count because that was half an hour before we even started streaming. MC, again, that was 10 minutes before we started streaming, so you guys are cheating. Tyrone, 7 minutes. Stephen came back in again 5 minutes before we went live. Tyrone, 5 minutes. Everyone's trying to be first. I think the first person, George, was a minute early, and then Jade is number one today. Jade was on the dot 8 p.m. in the chat. Angel, big up to you. Wise guy, always a pleasure. MC, IG, everyone. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to my panelists. We've lost one. Where did he go? Big up to Dennis. Big up to Mo. Big up to Julius. And Boogeyman was here a second ago. Maybe a technical issue. How you guys doing this evening? You guys good?
Yeah, man. Just here, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Yeah, international break taking the piss. We can say piss. International break is taking the piss, man. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm good, MDT. I'm good, Mo. Julius, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, guys. Today is a Q&A stream. We did one earlier in the week or last week. It went quite well. Boogeyman is back. Boogie, how are you? We lost you for a second there.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Welcome back.
How is the Chelsea family doing?
Chelsea family's doing good. It's doing good.
They do better when they see you.
Blessed. Yeah. No, listen. Like I was saying, we had a good Q&A session last time around, and I wanted to do it again. Since the international break is upon us, there isn't a lot of Chelsea-related content, news, and whatnot. So I thought, why not just have a banter with some friends in the panel and in the chat. So tonight we'll be here for a couple of hours just discussing any and every topic that you guys want to discuss. So hit us up with a Q and we will try to give you an A. So give us a question and we'll try to answer it here on the panel. Is there any topics that you guys are interested in? Just, it doesn't have to be a specific question. It can be a general question, but hit us up and we will take it from there. I'm hearing some family in the background. Whose family is that?
Might be mine.
Go on mute for a second. Yep, it was yours. It was yours. Tyrone in the chat. What's Patrick saying? Big up all. Of course. Of course. You don't even have to ask that, man. Of course.
Yeah, but
Everyone's fine. Everyone is fine.
Patrick Equal Youngson, yeah. Now, man, listen, man.
Family.
We all Chelsea fan, and the disagreement will come and go, man. And the most important thing is we all support the team, right? And as long as the disagreement is based on fact, and at the end of the day, you just have to be able to prove your point in a respectful manner, and life goes on, right? So that's the way it is.
Yeah. I listen. We have a saying in where I come from in Iraq, and it says your intestines fight within itself. Like your own body fights within itself. So you're bound to have arguments, disagreements. It's a family. So everything is smooth and perfect. Sharmark is asking a question, and so is Wise Guy. That is very similar. Sharmark is saying Frank Lampard to Norwich. Wise Guy is saying, do you think Lampard going to Norwich is good for his career? Tyrone, Lampard is set to be Norwich manager. You guys see what I did there? In the thumbnail, I put Frank Lampard and John Terry in the background, and I got that question as well. I wanted people to ask me that question because I think it's an important topic, but I wanted it to come from the fan base, and it did. So big up to the fan base for addressing this topic. Listen, guys. Rumours are apparent that Frank Lampard has already had talks with Norwich about the vacant management position there. Do you guys think this is a good move for Frank Lampard if he was to accept it for his career? What do you guys think? I want to go with MDT to start with this. MDT, what do you think about the story of Frank Lampard going to Norwich?
The thing with Lampard going to Norwich is a sticky situation. If you remember their history with Paul Lambert. Paul Lambert brought them in the Premier League twice and relegated them twice, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or once. And I don't know. Norwich is that kind of team that in the past 20 years, they've always been up and down, up and down, up and down. What difference is Frank Lampard going to do? Is Frank Lampard better than Daniel Farke? I don't think so as a coach. Do they have the money to give him what he will need to make the team certain way? I don't think so. So it's a risk. I know maybe he wants to get back into management, which is good for him, but this might be as well. Well, anyway, for Frank Lampard, even if he failed at Norwich, he still have the connection, family ties, nepotism, whatever. He will get another job. But personally, I think he should wait for a better job, not Norwich. Aston Villa, yes, they have money. But if he wants to build his managerial career to get back to the top, I don't think Norwich is a wise move. But with him, he can go to Norwich and even relegate them and still have a better job because he has a connection. But personally, I don't think it's a good move for him.
It will have positive impact on Billy Gilmour, do you reckon?
On Billy, no, not only on Billy. He will have positive impact on any of their forward players, but he will have negative impact on their defensive players. Because Lampard, even as Derby, their defense wasn't the greatest. So he will need to change his whole setup of, I like Jody. Nothing wrong with going with Jody, but he has to start employing different people. Not everybody has to be English or British in his management backroom staff. Sometimes go out of your comfort zone, because Lampard's greatest managers were not English managers. They were Jose Mourinho, Ancelotti, whatever. So for somebody to be coached by so many foreign managers, for you to always have your team 100% British and always, it's crazy. You have to mix it a little bit. Get a German coach, get a Portuguese coach, mix it with the British ones. and then you create where somebody will tell you, oh, boss, what this style you're doing for this player is okay, but for this one, you're exposing their weakness. For me, I think it's his backroom staff. If Lampard has a great backroom staff behind him, he will do well. But I don't think he will do that. He will still go with this core British backroom staff and repeat the same things again. Think it's going to work.
Sure. Brian in the chat, I see you. Big up to you. Good to see you in the stream. Boogeyman, what's your thoughts on this? Lampard to Norwich.
What MGT said makes sense. But I will try to go from another perspective. If Lampard go to Norwich now, he has the January windows to do few recruitment. No money-wise, by loan. I think Lampard, just by his connections and like MDT described it, can get a few loans from a British loan or British young player from, why not, Chelsea and other clubs around the EPL. And just that can actually help Norwich improve the squad. And as we all know, Lampard seemed to be really good with academy. And I think Norwich may need something like that to at least have competition in each position. At this point, Norwich cannot even afford to try. I mean, I don't think there is any coach that would like to go to Norwich because of the chance of relegation for Norwich at this point. So Lampard going there, I think, is good for Lampard also because their expectation is not that good. Whether they are relegated or not, he has an argument to say it was not possible to save that team anyways. I went there to try, but at the same time, he can start building the core players like Billy and have a few other players on loan. That if the next chance coming and he gets him like Aston Villa or Leeds or other, he can just bring those core young player like he brought here, Tamori, Mount, and who else? Oh no, it was Liverpool. It was that left foot Liverpool kid also that used to play for Onions. Yeah, that was from Liverpool. He can bring certain kid to his next team. So I think it will benefit Lampard, and I think it will benefit also Norwich. But the chance of staying in APL, I think, is worse than the chance. It is worse than the chance for Newcastle to stay. So you can imagine. I'm not too sure. But I think it will be a good experience for Lampard for sure.
I think so. I definitely think he will benefit from it as experience. And like MDT said, he's got nothing to lose. But maybe he has his sights set on something bigger. Let's see. Julius, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I would like to think about it as if I'm Frank Lampard. I want to put myself in his perspective. And I think Lampard is a very smart individual, and he, I think, is so hungry to prove himself after that Chelsea spell. Taking on Norwich for him is probably a huge risk for his reputation and his name as a manager. No doubt he's a huge player, one of the best midfielder of all time in England. But this could go wrong or it could go so right for him. If he is able to keep Norwich in the Premier League, that is a big achievement for him and for Norwich. It could look as if he won a trophy even, because when you look at this team, when you look at how they're playing and how many goals they concede, they're just eminent, like it's eminent they're going to get relegated. If he is able to save them, that's a big achievement. If he gets relegated with them, then that's another dent to his managerial career. I think he would, if he takes this role, I think in his head, he's like, I'm going to gamble, I'm going to take this risk. He's someone who would feel so confident in his abilities. I feel the only reason he would take this position is that because he has so much confidence in himself and his abilities. But he also needs to evaluate if this goes wrong, it's not good, because that could be a second time he failed in a club. So
I mean, a caveat to this question would be: do you think Frank Lampard could secure Premiership football for Norwich next season?
Personally, I think it's not possible. It's not impossible. Sorry, it's not impossible, but I think it's gonna be really tough and not realistic, to be honest. Because when I look at the other teams, like Crystal Palace is so much better, Aston Villa is so much better, Leeds is also, even though they're not good enough this year, but they're still so much. Like most of the teams are way better than Norwich right now. Even have stronger financial abilities in transfer windows. But knowing Lampard, he has huge confidence in himself and he's such a smart man. I think in his head he's probably thinking, I can do this. So, who knows?
Yeah, possibly. He may do it, but I think he was offered better positions that he declined quite recently, so that might play a part in regards to his decision making. Maybe he wasn't ready, a few months ago. Maybe he's ready now. It will be obvious very, very soon. Big up to Bobby. Bobby, welcome to the stream. How you doing, my man?
Hey, man. Hi. Hello, guys. Good evening. I just got in. I'm on my wrong device, so I won't be long. I don't know how much juice is left on this, to be honest.
All right. Well, you know what? Since you don't have a lot of juice and we may lose you, let me give you a crack at this question. I know Couch was next to go, but I'll make Couch wait a couple of minutes. Bobby, we have a question here. I mean, tonight is a Q&A session, so we're taking questions from the people in the chat. And the question is, do you think Frank Lampard going to Norwich is a good move for his career? What do you think?
Oh, wait, it hasn't happened, has it?
It hasn't, but it's been reported that it's quite possible. It's quite possible. Yeah.
I keep hearing this, and the one question I ask myself, I mean, it's one of those shrug your shoulders sort of things, isn't it? But the one question I ask myself is, why would Frank want to go to Norwich? When, just as I think I may have caught the tail end of Julius, where, the Palace job he apparently didn't want. I hate to say it, but of the two, Aston Villa perhaps looks more of an appealing prospect because he might be able to team up with JT. That is, if JT himself would want to remain a number two. I'm not sure that's a project for him, to be honest. After being at a club like Chelsea, and as far as I'm concerned, Frank cemented his legacy at Chelsea. He will forever be known as a great player. And added to that, he'll forever be known as, whether by default or not, as the manager that brought through the academy lads. Now, maybe he didn't have a choice, but you can't take away from him that he took the Chelsea project at a time that I can assure you many a great manager would not have come to Chelsea. So he really has to be applauded for that. But Chelsea is a super club. So do you go from there back to Derby County, which is more or less what Norwich is? I would be surprised if he took that job, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I see exactly what you mean there. I would rather see him go abroad, maybe to another league, and maybe get a reasonably placed team, and try to get some more experience in a different league. Maybe that would be beneficial to him. But
he needs a club like Dortmund or
I think
one
Dortmund
of these
is
French clubs, Marseille, something like that.
Yeah, Lyon. Something that is there or thereabouts. Couch, your thoughts on this? You're on mute, Couch. I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. What's up, Bobby? Good to see you, brother.
Hey, Couch.
I mean, I pretty much share the same opinion with the rest of the panel. Like, is Frank Lampard up for a relegation battle? I'm not so sure.
Mm.
Is Norwich willing to open the purse strings for Lampard to come in and bring in players that he could work with? I'm not so sure about that either. I'm of the opinion that Norwich is going down. I don't know if there's a manager that can come in and save them right now, just based on the fact that you need like maybe 6 X-Men, a couple Navy SEALs, a few tanks and stuff like that. It's a lot of work to get this team. You know what I mean? To get this team, playing any sort of like Premier League worthy football. So to have somebody like Frank Stature to come in there after having, just being sacked by Chelsea, taking a squad that won the Champions League to 10th place, maybe not where they would have finished, but granted, that's what the lasting memory is of him. Is, they were in 10th, and then they went on to win the Champions League. I don't know if this is something where he may have the appetite for it, but I would caution him to take this job just because the next step, if he gets relegated again, it's probably unlikely he gets another Premier League worthy job again. He probably has to go back to the Championship in order to cut his teeth again and gain promotion that way and then stay on. But I wouldn't take it. But
yeah,
I
was just going to say, I agree with the consensus that you are the ex Chelsea manager. You can go down a couple of notches, you can stay at that level, but to go down to a relegation battle, you're dropping too far down. Boogeyman, you ready to add something?
Yeah. For what I heard, I don't know if it is true or not. Norwich was the first in League Two, last season coming to EPL, right?
Right.
They win, right? Something like that, or they win their cup. I'm not sure, but I think
I think they were champions last season, weren't they? Of the championship.
Okay, so if anybody know their history, every time they go back to a championship, they always come back the next season, something like that. A whole story like that when we beat them 7-0. I think it was a pundit that was saying something. I'm not sure if it is true. It seems like every time they go to the championship, the season that follow, they always come back. So I'm just thinking, if Norwich board seem to invest in Norwich when they are in championship, that just maybe give more guarantee for Frank Lampard, maybe to spend one season in championship and just come back with a young team and just model the team at his image with academics, like a combination of academy from Chelsea, from other EPL team, and just start a new project as a Norwich manager. So it won't be too bad, because I just don't see Frank Lampard, even if he refuses Norwich job, I don't see him getting any top 6 team job at this point. And I just don't see.
Oh, definitely not top 6.
What's that?
No.
Definitely not top 6.
Yeah. So where is he gonna get? Because if he got like
Boogeyman,
yeah.
do you think it would make more sense for him to wait until the end of the season and then look at what's available then, rather than to go in mid-season with Norwich or another club like Norwich?
No, if I was Frank, I would take Norwich job, and because I just feel like their expectation is not that bad, and it seems like every time they go to the championship, the next season they always come back. I mean, I'm not too sure. Like I cannot say yes or no.
So you would rather go on that roller coaster than to
because one thing I heard from MDT is Frank is a well-known family in British, and he has a lot of connection. So at the end of the day, even if he has to sit 2 years after Norwich experience, he will always end up coming back. If Leeds is still in the league, or if Aston Villa, or I'm not sure, Crystal Palace, he can still pull some string and get one of those jobs. So I just don't see why he won't take the risk to just go to a team right now that have really low expectation. And at least looks like every time they go to the championship, they always come back. That's when I'm putting my weight on. Every time they go into the championship, they seem to always come back
I don't see how that makes much of an issue though. Like why that is the issue, because they come back up to the Premier League.
Like
what I mean by that is it still damages his reputation if he goes into this. Yeah, sure, for sure. Just let me finish this one point, Max. I just want to say, like, it still damages his reputation to go, to take this squad like halfway through the season, have them relegated to the Premier League, to the Championship. Like, I just don't think that that's something that is good for his resume, whether or not he can come back up or not.
So, for Frank Lampard, he's already promoted.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say, Norwich had 5 points, and Newcastle also have 5 points. And I went at the back all the way to 2017, 2018. The third team that stay in the EPL has 38, 40 points. If you do the 5 point minus 48, that means Norwich to stay in the EPL has to combine 36 points plus the 35 to be around 41 to stay in EPL. It's impossible because Newcastle is going to invest a lot of money, and also Burnley, they're not as bad as Norwich. So when you do all those, I mean, it's just pure mathematics. But when you do it, the chance for Norwich to stay in EPL are pretty close to impossible. So then, if Frank Lampard take a team like that, he knows he's going down. And for some reason, I feel like they will come back next season. So why not? That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
Yeah. Hi, guys.
Max Burton, welcome to the stream. How are you?
Hi. Oh, not bad. I agree with Boogeyman on this one, to be honest. Yeah. But because you know what, he's not going to be damaging his reputation at all if he goes to Norwich, because as Boogeyman said, they're down. They're basically down. They're not staying up. So even if he comes, he's not going to work a miracle and get them up. The league's gone for them. But what it is for him, he can rebuild. He's going to have, obviously, if he gets some scalps in the Premier League, some big wins, although they may go down anyway, or we will go down. What he'll do next season, he can rebuild. Yeah, and as Boogeyman said, they're a team who are good enough to bounce back up again. And what he can do once we go into the Championship, he can then build a team, sort of mould a team to get them back in the Premier League and stay in the Premier League. He will pick off a few of our youngsters on a permanent. You could be assured of that, because obviously he knows our youth team setup. And players would want to play under Frank. So he'll take a couple of our players, I think, to the club with him. And I think if he goes up with them next season, takes them back up, then stays in the division, then he's good.
Yeah, it's like I said, roller coaster. Is he prepared to go on that roller coaster ride or not? It's a topic that will be resolved, I would say, within the next couple of weeks, because or maybe a couple of days. Because Lampard has had a meeting with Norwich. Let's see if he has another one. Let's see if if he gets more serious than that. Guys, there's a couple of questions that are out here. I want to address one. Tyrone, I saw the question about the centre backs issue. I think we've addressed that a lot. We might come back to it. There was a question talking about, where is it? About Saul Niguez. This is a question I want to address. Is Saul Niguez going back to Spain? Is his future at Chelsea over? Now, there's been reports about this over the past couple of days, and they're being contradictory. Do we think... the first question is, do we think his contract will be extended? And secondly, do we want his contract to be extended? So I want you guys to answer it this way. Do you think it will be? And do you want it to be? All right? So it's two different, it's what you want and it's what you think is going to happen. And give me your reasoning behind it. I'm going to start with Mo. Again. Mo, do you think Saul Niguez will be signing for Chelsea on a permanent? And do you want him to be signing for Chelsea on a permanent?
Do I think? I absolutely think not. He's not going to stay at Chelsea. He's been overtaken by Barkley in the picking order now. And do I want him to stay? Absolutely not.
Brilliant. Thank you.
His current salary is over 10 million a year. That's more than most of our players.
Yeah, I agree. Bobby, your thoughts on this?
I have to go with Mo MBT. I mean, Saul Niguez has to start ripping up trees to have any chance of staying at Chelsea. Yes, he's overtaken by Barkley, definitely by Ruben. We've got people like Conor Gallagher, waiting in the wings for next season. There's no reason. I mean, I'll pay his airfare even now to get him back to Spain. He's to say he's been disappointing is an understatement. He's totally off the pace. He had a couple of shots in one game, but nah. For the hype, and now I didn't know he was on 10 million a year. Is that what Mo said? Oh my God, no. He's not staying for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, Barkley's overtaken him, Loftus-Cheek overtaken him. Gilmore can walk past him in his sleep, for all I care. I mean, Saul Niguez has not done what we all expected him to do. And to be fair, the day that we signed him, we were doing a live stream. We were really, really happy to see him coming on to Chelsea on a loan. But unfortunately, that didn't come out the way we were expecting it to. Boogeyman, what's your thoughts on Niguez? Do you have anything to add in regards to what the guys said?
In fact, I was trying to find what are the European competition of next year, if there will be. The World Cup is next year, right?
World
June.
Cup
in January. January.
In January?
No. World Cup or the World Cup?
World Club Cup you're talking about, yeah.
Cup, yes.
The World Cup is...
it's in November. November.
You talk about the international one or the one we are in before winning the Champions League? Which one are you referring to?
No, not the European, not the European Club World Cup, but I'm talking about the National Team World Cup.
The proper World Cup.
November. I think it's
next
November
year.
Next year.
Next year or in 2 years?
No, next year. I believe it's next year, November.
Next year.
Yeah, if it is next year, and I'm not too sure. Probably Kante will play, Kovačić will play, and I'm not too sure what are the players that will come back from the championship, either injured or not.
I see what you're saying.
What MDT and Bobby have said, listen, he was disappointed. He was disappointing for Chelsea in average, if you want to say, the expectation. But he is from Spain, and most Spanish or even Italian that came to our team to struggle the first year, and it took at least 1 year to show their talent. And if we don't have any competition next year, I would say send them back. But we have two midfielders that are over 30, Kante and Jorginho. And Kovačić, Kante, Jorginho, they all play for their national team. And I'm not too sure how many competitions they're going to be playing next year. And as a Chelsea top team, I would like to have that option. But then I heard about his salary. Then I'm like, no, he has to go. But then, so to be honest with you,
what's going on here? Is he staying or is he going?
That exactly. So I'm still processing the entire thing. But at this point, I think I will go to he has to stay because I think because of all
I need to find out what is happening in November with the World Cup because are we taking a break, and then when we come back from the World Cup, how much rest are we allowed to have, and how much that's all going to be important. Go on, Mo, you want to add something?
Yes, there is a break. Next year there is a break. There's I think 2 weeks before the World Cup, and after the World Cup there is a pause as well. So all the teams are going to have a pre-season as well when the tournament finish. So it's going to be a pause. So next year calendar is totally different. Boogeyman, it will not affect us because for next year we're preparing that for this summer. Summer transfer. So we will not need Saul. Saul will either go this summer and we will have Gallagher or Gilmore or whatever. It's a totally different transfer window. From this summer, that's when we prepare for this World Cup coming in and the rest of the year. So there's a pause. So we're gonna have another in season, pre-season, like the COVID season. What happened?
Yeah. No, it's gonna be mad. It's gonna be mad. Go on, Couch.
I don't even know why that even matters, whether or not we get into World Cup next year. It's just whether or not this guy adds value to the squad. Like, he hasn't really shown that he's adding value. And if we need another midfielder, if it ends up that we need another midfielder, we just buy another midfielder. I don't see why you're going to spend £34 million on a guy who hasn't shown you that he can even play in your squad. Yeah, because there is a buy clause. You have to buy him at £34 million.
Sure.
It's not as simple as just like, okay, well, he's still here. We'll just pay his wages, right? So,
yeah,
I'm of the opinion that, like, he's not yet shown to me that he could play at this level. The intensity of the Premier League, the pace and power, he's not really at that level for me yet. And until I see that, I'm still thinking, send him back as soon as you can. We have a lot more capable midfielders, even within our loan system, that could come back in and give us more minutes than he has. So that's where I am. I don't know. It sounds harsh, but I think that's where it is.
Yeah. I've got a question from Angel talking about a related topic. I want to see if Julius and Max have anything to add, or are you guys content with the answers from the guys?
Just one thing from me. The thing is, obviously, I think we were excited to get him in because obviously he was a free, and if it didn't work out, we can send him back. It hasn't worked out, so we need to send him back. But for me, the alarm bells were, why were Atletico so willing to let this guy go? Because he was one of the mainstays in their team up until a couple of seasons ago. Then they let him go so easily. So that should have said to us that there's something not his career's got taken a bit of a nosedive. We thought he could come here and resurrect his career, but as someone else said, the emergence of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, even Ross Barkley's ahead of him, what we're seeing with Conor Gallagher down the road at Crystal Palace, he's surplus to requirements. We need that 34 million can go to for another player who's going to be better suited for us.
Yeah, I mean, there was a chain reaction when it came to that transfer. They had to get rid of him so they could get somebody else in. And
it was
Griezmann and someone else involved in that. So but you're right. There was a lot behind that. It wasn't a straightforward. We want him. We just we haggle and then we got him. Julius, do you want to add something, or do you want to take the next question? Do you want to go first on the next question?
I think the boys answered that very well. You can go to the next question.
Julius, the next question, and you will have the first crack at it, is if we were to sign a creative midfielder, who would you have? I'm going to add a caveat to that. I mean, firstly, do we need to sign a creative midfielder? And if we do, then who? So it's not if we were going to. Let's say, do we need to? And then if you assume that we do need to, who would it be? Julius, you go first.
Actually, I wish I answered the last question.
All right, you can touch up on it if you want to.
No, I'm joking. So, to be honest, this is a very hard question because I've always thought that this creative midfielder position doesn't exist anymore in modern football. I cannot think of one midfielder that is the same as like the likes of Ozil or Fabregas, who are absolutely experts at creating clear-cut chances consistently. Now it's maybe De Bruyne was one of the last few midfielders that was really, really creative, but I can't think of any name that would come into Chelsea and add value in terms of chances creation. We thought that would be someone like Havertz, but Havertz is more of a joker player. He can play in multiple roles, not really a master at one thing. Good at many things, and that's the case with most midfielders in modern football now.
Yeah. So you don't have anybody in mind?
If you ask me as a midfielder, not as a creative midfielder, who I would want at Chelsea, I would say Declan Rice. Aside from that, not sure who would be able to come in and be actually creative. I can't think of anyone unless the boys have someone in their head.
All right. Go on.
Yeah, I don't think we need one, to be honest. But if we were to get somebody, this guy's young, promising, and we won't get him, but he's somebody who I feel is going to be one for the future, and he's Pedri from Barcelona.
Oh,
That
come
guy-
on.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying we won't get him, but the question
Yeah.
was, if we were to sign a creative, who would you have? It wouldn't say, it didn't say out of your realms, out of your possibility. Who would you have? And that's who I'll have. I think that this guy's got a bright future, and he's going to be one to look out for. Definitely.
But it's not just like what do I keep forgetting? Josh McEachran. We used to have that kid that has a left foot really back then. Is also
Yeah, but he was doing it in the youth scene, not the Pedri went to the Euros and performed.
I understand that, but I'm just thinking Pedri from Spain in EPL. I'm not too sure if it will come really expensive. Also, would he succeed in EPL?
Obviously, that's as I said, we won't get him. But that wasn't the question. That was the question: if we were to sign a creative midfielder, who would you have?
I think I'll probably go with César because he is a little heavy. He looks like he can take some punch, and he looks a little bit like a Hazard. So I think if we call him a midfielder, yeah.
That's the thing,
no, that's not a midfielder. That's not a creative midfielder.
I mean, creative midfielder is like.
Italia,
Is it? I mean, are we talking Zidane?
Dybala would be like more closer to a creative midfielder than Chiesa.
Do you guys remember what's his name? Giorgio Hagi.
Hagi.
You know, this is what I'm talking about.
Or here's one for you, Baggy, who played in the Premier League for Bolton, JJ Okocha. When you're talking about,
you know what I mean.
Man.
That's creative. That's creative.
Yeah.
That's creative.
Yeah.
You guys are you see what you guys are talking. This is what football have lost because of now. They concentrate more on analytic, like boogeyman stats and this and ball losses and touches or whatever. So because of that, we've lost the people like the Rui Costa, the Gianfranco Zola. We never used to count how many balls they lost.
Hakim Ziyech.
They dribble. We never used to count it. You remember this Histro Stoichkov? You remember Stoichkov?
Yes, I do.
Stoichkov,
yeah. You remember Boban?
Yeah.
Boban wasn't that
we
bad.
miss those kind of players. No, but he was a very good creative player.
Yeah, but how many of those succeed in EPL?
It's a lot. JJ Okocha was very successful. JJ Okocha was very successful at Bolton. Zola was great. Zola was brilliant. Yeah, Zola was brilliant for us. Ruud Gullit was brilliant for us.
And who was exactly? You remember even Kanchelski, he was a winger, but he can come in as well. For Austria, he play in the middle. Andrei Kanchelski.
Oh yeah.
Even Tottenham had the Van der Vaart. Van der Vaart was excellent.
Guys, we haven't said hello to DJ yet. DJ, big up to you. I just realized you're here. Good evening, mate. Good evening.
When did you sneak in?
I just how are you guys doing? I just jumped on. My missus is not well, so I won't stay on for too long, guys. I thought I'd just pop in to quickly say hello. I was just hearing. I thought you guys were just talking about some plays there, mate. I mean, it does bring back memories. I mean, I can go back as far as Dennis Bergkamp. I know he didn't play for us, but what a player he was. Remember him?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Who else was there?
I think the last generation of playmakers. I think our last generation of playmaker was Juan Mata, isn't he? For Chelsea, Juan Mata.
Yeah.
The number 10 is dead. Don't you think the number 10 role is dead now?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a lot of teams are playing with it. It seems like the number 10 role has moved to the wing. You know, like the number 10s are now wingers.
I think our last playmaker was Fabregas, not Mata.
Yeah.
Fabregas was the last one we had.
Yeah.
Fabregas.
Oscar would have been if Jose Marina didn't turn him into a defensive midfielder, then Oscar would have been.
Oscar, what a player!
Yeah, Oscar was good.
What a player!
Oscar was good. Yeah, Oscar was good. You remember the Juventus goal?
Yeah.
We don't need a creative midfielder. We actually have midfielders who can create. And that seems to be the way to go now.
Yeah, I think the way football has been played now. DJ, can you just put your back on me for a second, please?
Yeah, sorry, bro.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, no. I mean, I think the way football is being played now, there's less room for creativity and more room and more of a requirement of shall I use this word? Stat padding. Amount of passes received and accomplished and dribbles and a player that is creative will have a lousy stat sheet, but he'll be amazing on that pitch. And I think if we look back at some of these players and some of the errors that they were prone to make, we'd be gunning them down. But the flip side to that is, how beautiful was it to watch them play, and those mistakes were taken with a pinch of salt because of the performance.
Sorry, let Dennis go, then I'll go afterwards.
No, go, jump in, Max. You had it.
No, what I'm saying, what it is now, it's all about patterns of play. Okay, so everyone is in a rigid formation nowadays. There's no room for that sort of creativity at all because who was it? I don't know whether this was true. Did anyone see this on Twitter where it came from a tweet came in and it said that Thomas Tuchel wouldn't want Mbappe at Chelsea because he doesn't follow instructions properly, and he wants someone who can press the ball better. I did see that it was a tweet somewhere. I'm not sure how authentic it is or not, but if that is the case, then that's the issue that we have nowadays. So more, what can they do on the defensive side rather than what can they offer us going forward?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, basically. It's just the fact that squads are now more workmanlike and you don't have a lot of room for passengers, right? If you have your striker who's kind of sitting at top of the attack, then to have a number 10 who has a similar role, who basically doesn't work hard off the ball, basically just looking to be the creative outlet, the attacking thinker, then it's very difficult to have two players that don't work hard off the ball. And it seems to me that every big squad in world football right now presses high up the pitch and requires their the positions if they play with a number 10, he has to be a workman like number 10, or else it won't work with the striker. So you see Season right here saying Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne doesn't even play as a number 10. He plays as a deep 8, right? And he's well insulated as well. So I agree. I think it's more just about how we're playing football now. Teams aren't playing. You need more workmen in the midfield more so than just pretty attack players.
I'll add something quick. Even Hudson-Odoi, with all the talent that he has, he cannot really use them because he's always scared of losing the ball and have to run and chase the ball back. So creating midfield mentality, the way I think we knew it back then, all those Rui Costa and just dribble as soon as he did not worry about losing the ball, cannot work under Tuchel for sure, because it's all about not losing that ball, and when you lose it, be in a better position to be able to recover. And in EPL, ball goes so fast. When you lose it, you have to run as fast as possible to catch the next pass. So I don't think it's even a good idea at this point for those playmakers to even come to EPL, because EPL is just another animal for me anyways. I don't think we will see any of those. Even if the guy has an NM, no coach is going to use them because it's too risky at this point.
But it's not in the EPL. Look at international football, because you look at Brazil. Back in the day, everyone used to love watching Brazil, but even they're workmen like now. You're going to look in the World Cup, you're not going to see anybody with any of that flair. The only ones you'll probably see, who I liked watching the last time was, I think, a couple of World Cups ago, Saudi Arabia, I think. Was it UAE or something? And you know why? They played without fear. These guys were just playing with a lot of.
They know they're going to be eliminated anyway, so.
No, but it was great to watch, though. It was so good to watch. The freedom that they had. You have
Max, you just nailed it.
So I was just saying, you have a lot of talented players that play in the Middle East. They have the technique, but the problem is they don't have the tactical awareness to progress in football these days. I mean, today it's more about tactics than it is about the individual players' technique. But we have a lot. I mean, African football, Middle Eastern football, Asian football. There's a lot of very gifted technical players unfortunately they lack the tactical understanding, and that's why they're not really breaking through. And I'm talking about the Asian and Middle Eastern players breaking through at a large level in European football. We'll go to this question after Mo. Mo has something you wanted to add.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Max, you just hit the nail in the head. And Mo Kasim, you just said it. Even in European football, you remember when Portugal used to just play beautiful football. They never used to win, and they brought in this coach that just play military football, and they won their first trophy.
Yeah.
Okay, Spain as well. When they used to play with Luis Enrique, Pep Guardiola, Kike, they used to play that beautiful football. They didn't win. They brought in regimental football. They won. You remember even Brazil? They brought in Felipe Scolari to bring in Gilberto as the holding midfielder and change the way they play. Yeah. They play like regimental football. Play the three, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, whatever, and they won the World Cup. So all of a sudden, football has just flipped. They just still out of the window. Everybody is playing this type of like rigid formation. The skilled players are out. Now it's more like you have to hone yourself to play in a square, around square pegs. It's crazy.
But I think Spain and Brazil, 2022 Brazil, 2019 Brazil with Mauro Silva in the midfield, and Dunga, you have to have some Gattuso type player somewhere to allow the technical player to take some time to just express themselves. If you find that good combination, you can still allow your artist, I would like to call them, or the creative midfielder to just be who they're, like Romario, Bebeto. They just keep dribbling and scoring goals, and it cannot always be rudimentary and physical and change your entire system to win. You can find a good combination. Even Spain, I think it was in South Africa, with all the Iniesta, they were not that rudimentary. It's not just tactical. They played beautiful football with Fernando Torres playing as a front line. He was not the best striker either, but they won the the World Cup just because they played that beautiful tiki-taka from Barcelona that they always have. So when you have quality player, you can use them also. It doesn't have to be all physical rudimentary to win a league.
You know, it's having that one player that has the license to free roam on the pitch, and unfortunately now we can't afford to do that because every player is tasked with a specific area of the pitch, specific type of play. Makes it a little bit difficult. I really want to ask this question, Max. Go on.
Yeah, sorry, quick. I'll be quick, but it's just on going on to what what's in the Boogeyman said. Sorry. If you look at Pogba, when Pogba was at Juventus, right, they had Pirlo and who was it? Someone else, a holding midfielder. What's his name? Vidal.
Vidal.
Vidal. And you know what? He was just go and roam. That's what similar when he was at France, because the donkey work's done by Kante. Go and roam. When United, difference now because he's got to do a bit more tactical work for United. He's not the same player, so that's an important thing. So if you have a couple of players who can do the donkey work, then you can let your flair players just go and have a free roll and roam. So it can work, but you just got to get the system right.
All right, moving on. People in the chat, please post your questions. We will try to get through as many as possible, and make sure you hit that like button. We want 43 likes with 44 people in the chat, so please hit that like button. The question is, a lot of talk about the possibility of players leaving next summer. Who do you think are the most likely? And I'm guessing there's a lot of contracts that are going to be. Sorry, 1 second, guys. There's a lot of contracts that are going to be expiring at the end of the season. You got Boogeyman. Sorry, you got Boogeyman. You got Antonio Rudiger. You got Azpilicueta. You got who else? There's a couple more. Remind me, guys. Christensen. So there's a couple of players whose contracts are expiring. There's also players who agents are talking about the possibility of of them moving next summer. Jorginho is one of those players. In your opinion, who do you think are likely to be leaving? Are likely to be leaving for whatever one of those reasons? I'm going to start with Julius. Well, lost Bobby. Julius, who do you think are the players most likely to be leaving?
I think I'm not sure actually. I don't know. Maybe Rudiger. I still don't want to come to conclusions with Rudiger. I have some hope that he may sign the contract extension or renewal. Last minute could be, I don't know, but other than that, and defense, they're good. Midfield, I would have said Barkley, but I don't know. I feel Barkley has proved himself to Tuchel. He's been important to us this season. We're gonna have to see how consistent he is until the end of the season. You could put Barkley on the list potential if he doesn't prove that he's consistent and valuable to the squad.
Sure.
Werner is another possibility. Depend on what Chelsea want to do with the striker situation. If they want to add someone with Lukaku or no, I don't know. Because honestly, we can say Havertz as can be used as number 9, but he's not reliable as a number 9. 100%. He's not going to be consistent there. He's not going to score 15 goals a season.
Okay. Julius, maybe the question should have been, who do you think is going to stay next season? Because you got everybody leaving, man. You got everybody leaving.
No, I just said maybe Rudiger.
3 players.
Maybe Rudiger.
If I had waited 5 more minutes, it'd have been 10. That's why I cut him off. Sorry, Julius, carry on.
I meant Havertz is staying, but I don't think he's gonna be reliable as a number 9. He will be important for us. So I'm thinking maybe Tuchel is looking to use Werner as a part of the deal to bring someone else. I know for sure that the Haaland topic will come back to haunt us next summer. Regardless with whether Lukaku or no, I think Werner could be utilized in a deal like that. And I don't know with Lukaku if he's going to be good enough alone to play as our number 9. I don't know. Don't forget also before the injury, he had a couple of games where he didn't score, but I do believe it wasn't his fault. It's not that because he wasn't good or anything. There's a lot of variables and comes into play here, but Werner, Barkley, and Rudiger potentially. I can't see anyone else.
All right, brilliant. I'm gonna bring in Boogeyman. I know Boogeyman needs to leave, so I'll let him come in and give me his thoughts before he goes. Boogeyman, who do you think will be leaving and why?
From last season to this season, I think we only lost Zuma, right? So after we won the Champions League, only Zuma left.
No, we lost a lot. We lost a whole bunch of people. We lost.
Livramento went.
Yeah,
people that play for us.
Abraham, Giroud.
Giroud. Abraham. Oh, so they all contributed last season. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Emerson Palmieri. There's a few.
Yeah, they are all squad players. A lot of squad players. Anyways, my mentality when it comes to that is it's always conditional. If we, at the end of this season, we win anything, I don't like changing a team that is winning. So probably I will just leave, say Saul can go because he is the only lonely, and at the end of that season, he's not our player anymore. Even Malang Sarr, I will keep him. Rudiger, finger crossed, hopefully he stays. The only player I see that can live without me worried is Kepa. Other than that, because he's on a big salary also. Other than that, I don't see anybody. And the other thing is, I don't want us to change a team that is capable of winning the league or anything. That's how I think when it comes to transfer anyway. So Kepa and Saul will be the only two if I have to give.
You're confident that Rudiger and Christensen are going to sign their contracts.
Azpilicueta also. If I'm not, let's say I will just. If I say 90%, I'm not going to be able to justify why I give that number, but I'm pretty sure that Christensen will sign because he's from our academy. Rudiger, I'm more likely to think he will stay. So I feel like he will stay, and I want him to stay. So I will say, yeah. So to that question, yeah, I think both will stay. And we need them. We need both anyway to keep the same mood or the same spirit or whatever, the same we've been driving from last year through this season to the next. I like to keep the core of player together till like they're too old to play for Chelsea. That's how I see the next. I think the next season we should not be selling anybody just because we want to. Even if we bring Declan Rice in, I think our midfield should stay still. Declan Rice come and challenge for position, and if for money reason Kepa can go, Saul can go. That's for me, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, Kepa is a tricky one for me because we need to. I mean, I think we need to get rid of him because of the contract that he's on, because of the salary that he's on, and because of what he's able to do for us. Kepa is a backup goalkeeper that makes us nervous as a fan base. We need to get a backup goalkeeper that does not make us nervous. Do you guys remember when we had Kepa as our number one and we had Caballero as our number two? When Caballero used to come on, we weren't expecting all that much, and he normally did more than we were expecting him to do. While with Kepa, we're expecting more, and he's doing less than we're expecting him to do. So there's that.
I think it's been a bit unfair to Kepa this season. I think he's done okay.
No, Kepa is done fantastic, but not for what we're paying, not for the contract that he's on.
Not for what we're paying, no, but I think he's improved.
I think
he's got less pressure now. I think he's improved his performances. But I agree with you on that point. For the money and contract he's on, it's too expensive to be sitting on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. But if we're down, I'd rather all stay for sure. But if I have to get rid of someone because of money, I think Kepa and Saul. That's it.
Yeah. Boogeyman, thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated. Much love. Me. We'll see you in the next stream.
Take care,
brother. Take care, brother. All right. Peace out. Cheers, Boogie. Cheers. I'll go to DJ Sav. DJ Sav, give me your thoughts on this.
It's an interesting topic. To be honest with you, like Boogeyman, I hope none of our players can go. I think if anyone's going to come under pressure next season, for me, it could be, obviously, unless they sign their contracts. Obviously, I'm hoping Rudiger and Christensen will stay. But in terms of who may go, if they don't up their game, Hakim Ziyech possibly. There's a lot of talk of him in the media. Atletico Madrid, AC Milan have been looking at him apparently. Whether it will happen, I don't know. I personally think he's still good enough to stay in this team. But again, we don't know what Tuchel's thinking is, if he thinks he's good enough to stay in this team. It's interesting you mentioned Kepa. I don't know if you guys have seen in the last couple of days. Apparently, Claude Makelele, I don't know if you guys know, he's one of our things that looks at the players that we may want to buy for the future. Apparently, we've been linked with some Turkish goalkeeper. Apparently, he's about 20 years old, and there's talk that we might be looking at bringing him in. He's been highly recommended. Apparently, he's supposed to be. I don't know how true it is. He's supposed to be one of the best keepers in Turkey in Turkey at the moment. How much of it is true, I don't know. I don't know much about this guy. Maybe people in the comments might have heard it or seen it on Twitter. I don't know.
I've read something a while ago. When we're looking at Mendy. I'm not sure if it's the same.
No, it's a different guy. Another one you're talking about.
No, that one's a bit older. That one.
This guy's a different one. I've never actually heard of him at all. All I know is I've just heard that he's been apparently recommended by to Makelele, and he's been apparently branding his name around. How much of it is true, I don't know, in terms of how good he is. But like I said, people in the comments might know more than me on that. But other than that, I really don't know. I mean, Pulisic could be looking at another one that could lose his place maybe in the summer. There's talk about him as well. But to be honest with you, I really hope we can keep all our players, really, mate. I don't think we really need to make many players players to leave. But as I said, it depends on what Tuchel sees going forward. If he thinks, I know Julius mentioned Timo Werner as well. There's that possibility as well. Could we look at maybe doing a deal with him and maybe involving him in this whole thing with Haaland again? Or there's talk of Borussia Dortmund as well. So as I said, I really don't know who will actually stay or who will come, but I really hope we can keep with our squad. I really do, because I think we've got a good squad there that can win us trophies for the next couple of years at least.
Yeah.
I want to add to DJ's comments. It would be a very horrible mistake to actually get rid of Werner, because
agreed, mate.
The Werner is like an undercover soldier for us on the pitch. He does so much and he contributes so much to the goals, even though his stats don't reflect that 100%. But a lot of his movements and his press plays huge and have a huge impact on when we score goals and when we beat teams.
I agree. Boogeyman. Bobby, give me your thoughts on the players exiting the club.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost certain Chelsea won't be making any wholesale changes, especially if the club adds to the success of last season. That's for sure. The only sort of players I think will go will be like your likes of Niguez, players at risk. Will be underperforming players. Having said that, I have concerns now that we're in November in and around Rudiger. I'm not sure what's going on there. Even Christensen, we've heard enough about the fact that he's going to sign. We just need to see him sign. And the same with Rudiger. The defense is an area that we need stability to sustain success, perhaps even more than any other part of the pitch. I would even extend Thiago Silva's contract, to be honest, by another year if he'll stay. But yeah, the Rudiger situation is concerning me. All indications are this guy wants to stay at Chelsea. So I keep asking the question, then what's the problem? It's a curious one. And I think, for me, unless he comes out and says he wants to leave, if he leaves Chelsea, I'll be very angry at the board. I'll be very angry at the board, because it's their job to persuade players like that or to keep them. And if we're such great negotiators, well, negotiate the guy you've got rather than talking about people you haven't even got and can't get. Sort this guy out. This is just so frustrating now. Unless he wants to leave, then nobody can do anything about it.
Yeah, no, I'm really concerned, because this should have been done and dusted a long time ago. Next month, literally one more month. Come January, he is able to accept offers, contract offers. They can talk to him. I know that there's talks are happening under the table right now, but in January they can do them directly, face to face, and they can meet him. They can take him out for a meal and offer him whatever they want.
The thing is, Mo, even if, let's say, come January he still doesn't want to leave Chelsea, but do we need the distraction of all the rumours that's going to be flying about around Rudiger? Oh, he sat, Real Madrid have offered this, Bayern Munich. That's what's going to happen. Unless they sort this thing out. They need to sort this.
Yeah.
They need to sort it now.
I agree. I mean, for me, the French players, the Ross Barkleys, the Malang Sars, all these guys don't really concern me. as much as the spine players. Rudiger's a spine player. Christensen's a spine player. These need to be tied down quickish. Who's left? Max, Couch, and Mo. I'll go with Max.
Yeah, so I'm surprised no one's mentioned this guy, Marcus Alonso. I can't see him staying beyond.
Is he still at the club?
I forgot about that one.
Maybe everyone forgot he's at the club, but I just can't see. He's always one who flatters to deceive at the beginning of the season, isn't he? And then I think Matson, is it? The guy is at Coventry. And we've got some understudies, some good understudies for that left back role. Anyway,
is Matson on loan or was he sold?
No, is
on
Coventry? Which
Matson
one's
is on loan.
Coventry? Where's that Coventry? Is that one? Yeah. And so Marcus Alonso may go down the road to Tottenham, but then again they'll sing that song to him, so probably he won't want to go to Tottenham. Yeah, obviously Conte likes him. Conte likes to work with players that he used to work under before. So maybe Lukaku. No, just joking.
Don't go there, Max.
But I actually think, I don't want this to happen, but I actually think it may happen. But I don't think we'll extend this season beyond this season. We'll see how he gets on if he stays fit. He seems to be a fit lad, but will they give him another season, especially if they're looking at other defenders? Sure. A lot will probably depend on the Rudiger situation.
I think he would be requesting it because he has ambitions to play in the World Cup, and if he's in a club like Chelsea, then his chances are greater. If he goes to Brazil, because I know there's talks about him going to Brazil next season to go back. I think if he goes back to Brazil, then his chances for playing, to be in the Brazil team for the World Cup will be quite limited. So.
We may give him another season, and obviously just phase him out after the first season for us. A lot depends on. I'm not advocating this, but Jorginho's agent is always every season he's itching for him to move back to Italy. If we get, and a lot of it depends on who we get in as well. Because if we get in, say, if we bid big for Declan Rice, then maybe we will sacrifice Jorginho if Rice comes in, for argument's sake. And Pulisic depends on his injury record. We may run out of patience with him at the end of the season. If he picks up 2 or 3 more injuries, is he someone who we can rely on? Or can we get in somebody like Chiesa from Juventus or something like that? So with Chelsea, we're a one in, one out club, ain't we? So if we're selling somebody, if we're bringing someone in, we're going to have to sell somebody to cover. Ross Barkley's done enough, but maybe he's become more valuable in the transfer market for other sides, seeing his performances. And does he want to stay and be a bit part player, or does he feel that he can do a job for another club elsewhere? So again, it depends on what the player wants. Does the player want to move on? Do they want to stay? But for me, definitely Marcus Alonso, Saul will probably go back, and those are the 2 definites, and the others are dependent on other variables.
All right, brilliant, lads. Let me see your questions. Let me read your questions in the chat, because you guys are talking within yourselves. Send us a couple of questions so that we can address them. I'm going to go to the Couch Critic.
Sorry, Mo. Sorry, excuse me. Then I've got to go, because this will just cut me out at this rate. It's already done it once. The second time, it won't recover for some hours.
No worries, Bobby.
Bless you guys.
Thanks for taking part. Take care,
Cheers,
Bobby.
Bobby.
See you later.
Take care, Bobby.
Bye.
Take care.
Yeah, no, Bobby's phone overheats whenever he's using StreamYard, so it is what it is. Thanks for coming on, Bobby Boogeyman. Who else do we have in here? That was it. All right, Couch. Let me hear your answer to this question, mate. Who do you think is leaving?
It'll be a little controversial. And this is just based on what I see right now. I don't think that we can foretell the future, but just based on what I see right now, I think Niguez is a foregone conclusion. I think Ziyech is a potential to leave just because he isn't really fit with the system anymore. I would say, for me, Rudiger is probably on the way out. Not because the club want him to go, but mainly because I think that he sees his future elsewhere. If not, he'd had already signed. And I would say Azpilicueta is potentially on his way out as well. Just because I don't really see, we're looking at right center backs right now, and I don't think Azpilicueta fits the profile right now for that position. And then when we're looking at right wing back, like, unless he wants to sit on the bench again, like, he's not displacing Reece James anytime soon. I mean, there are going to be games where you want to be a little bit more defensive minded, but for me, Reece James he's playing world class right now. He's in world class form, and it's hard to see him fall off at this point. So I think that he's going to be probably our preferred right wing back for the for foreseeable future. And somebody like Azpilicueta, as much as he's been such a great servant for the club, I just don't know if he's going to be able to hold on to his position. And might want to look elsewhere again. Maybe just finish his career in Spain or something like that. Who knows? But hard to say. Aside from that, I think that what Boogie was saying is true. If we go on and win any honors, whether it be Champions League or Premier League, you want the core of the squad to come back. If we go trophyless this year, I can also see Jorginho going, and we just look to rebuild the midfield. Because his agent's always yabbering on about, like, I want to go back to Italy. He loves Napoli, this, that, and the other. So, I mean, if we don't continue to show that we are, top club winning all the top honors, then I can see him potentially going as well. But yeah, I can see Azpilicueta leaving. I can see Rudiger leaving. I can see potentially Jorginho, and I can see Alonso. Yeah, that makes sense as well. And to piggyback on what Max said, like, yeah, I could see him going to Tottenham just because he doesn't necessarily have to be first choice there, but, like, it seems like he always wants to have somebody in his squad that is an example of what he wants them to play like. So Conte will bring somebody in that's already played that style, understands it. So at least when he's going through his training sessions, he has somebody there that has been through the paces and knows what's being asked of. So, it sounds weird, but that's a good shout.
Yeah, true. Mo, I'm going to give you a little bit of a twist on this question. The question in front of you, who do you think is leaving? But I want you to start answering the next question, which is one that I'm going to ask you guys. And that is, who would be coming in? Because right now we're talking about, as an example, Azpilicueta leaving because of his age, because of his contract situation. So if you agree that he's going to be leaving, who would you have come in? Because that's what I'm going to ask everybody else to cover in respect to the players who they thought would be leaving. Who would they have coming in their place? And I'm not talking about position. I'm talking about player. So, Mo, tell me who's going and who do you want to replace them with?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't know why. I have this weird feeling that the players that we thought might leave will not leave, apart from Alonso. I think Alonso will definitely go. He looked that way. But all the ones, like whether it's Aspi, Christensen, Rudiger, and Thiago, that have a contract running out this summer, I think that's up to the boss lady, like Marina Granovkaia. It's up to her, unless the owner intervenes, but she will decide those 4 people's fate. It's up to her what she decides to do now. But if she decides to keep those people, I think they all will stay. But I think we're gonna lose a midfielder. I don't. It's either between Jorginho and Kante. I think we're gonna lose one of them. And what's his name?
Gone.
With Alonso, and I don't see how Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, and Pulisic will be happy if they don't play more than 60-70% of our matches this season. I don't see them being happy because Timo Werner already start complaining. He's a German he's a starter in Germany.
Yeah.
And Pulisic is the poster boy of Soccer America. Okay. And then you have Hakim Ziyech is not going to want the situation going on as well. Those three players will not. They will not accept playing less than 70% of this season's game. They will request to leave.
There's
I think
a problem.
We're most likely to.
Sorry to interrupt you.
There's
exactly, and it's going to get worse because I believe Conor Gallagher coming back next season has a strongest case as anyone else to be in that team. The performances he's putting in with Crystal Palace, I think everybody in the fan base wants him in that team. Everybody in the squad, in the club, would want to see him in that team because he's an investment, and the investment is paying off. So play him. Therefore, we've got another attacker in our system who's going to be fighting for Ziyech's place, Werner's place. So that problem is getting bigger. It's getting bigger. Sorry to interrupt you. Continue more.
Yeah, and also a manager, they love players that don't mind being a squad player, but they don't whinge. They do what they are told, even if fans don't like them. We had them before, Solomon Kalou. We had them before. Now Ross Barkley is going to be that for Tuchel. Fans might kick off on whatever, but he's doing what the manager asked him to do. And Ross Barkley is going to eat playing time from little from Ziyech, little from Pulisic, little from Werner, and they're going to be upset about that. Okay, Mount, exactly. So all of a sudden, fans might not like Ross Barkley, but he's doing what the manager wants him to do. So he might not play 50 games, but he will play 10, 15 games, and that's eating from the other players. And those players are not going to be happy. So what's going to end up happening? They're going to want to leave. And for me, I think that's where we have more problem than anywhere. Those three players will not be happy if they don't play 70% of the game this season. And who we're going to replace them with? If Tuchel stay, I think he's going to go for the proper winger type, attacker type. We're talking about the Chiesa type of player, but I don't think we're going to get Chiesa. He's going to go players like Nkunku of Leipzig. And this, Claudinho. Yeah, Claudinho of Zenit. And you have the other one at, what's his name? The one at Ajax, the Brazilian. Those type of players.
Yeah.
Or Rafinha at Leeds. I believe that he's going to go like the Mo Salah type of player, Sadio Mane type of player. If Tuchel stays, he's going to go for those. He's going to replace these players that leave with those type of players that can press, that can run, that can dribble, attack with pace. Because Chiesa will be too expensive. It will not make a sense to sign him for over 100 and something million and pay him 200,000-300,000 a week. If he was cheap, I will go for him. And for defense, I think Alonso.
Go ahead, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, for defense, Alonso's replacement, I don't think the club will go and spend stupid money. I think they're going to trust the academy to have Matson as an understudy because it's cheap. I think it's on 15 to 20,000 a week, which is going to reduce the wage. So it will not make sense to bring in 22 international and pay them all over 150. We don't have the stadium to do that because Arsenal even make more money on their stadium, on sponsors' name and corporate seat than Chelsea. That's what Chelsea fans tend to forget. Our stadium is still holding us back a little bit. These teams, they're still making money. Our sponsors' money is as big as anybody else. But the stadium, we're not making as much. That's why we're always top 10, not top 5, not top 2, not top 3. It's just the stadium. With the stadium, we'll be top there like everybody else. So that's why our wage, we still have to balance it. So the youth coming in is helping us. We can buy, we can pay top 10, 15 good players, good money, but the youth will compensate, like balance the book. So I believe Matson will replace Alonso, and one of Jorginho Kante will leave, and they might sign Rice, Tchouameni, depend on the price, or else they will look in the academy as well. I believe Chelsea is going to try to only sign superstars or the youth in the academy. They're not going to go again signing people like Barkley, Drinkwater. That's done. They're not going to do that anymore.
Can I just add something as well? What is also important?
One second, Max. Couch, do you want to say something? Because you spoke with them.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it's important, like for squad players, to just be rotated out of the squad too, especially because if you're buying like high level squad players, they're not going to want to sit on the bench for year after year after year. So you kind of have to keep on rotating those players in and out. So I kind of agree with Mo on that. Like it's not a case where Ziyech is going to just sit on the bench for 2 years, in his prime years or anything like that. Like those guys want to be playing football as well. So it's about trying to always like recycle them out, recycle them in. So that's basically it.
All right, cool. Max, give me your alternatives to the players who you thought would be leaving.
My alternatives. What do you mean by that? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. It's the question that was posed was, who do you think will be leaving? I gave it a little bit of a twist, and I said to Mo, the players who would be leaving, and who would you replace them with? So the players
who would I replace them with?
Yeah,
okay, right.
So the players,
as I said before, I'll give. I agree with what Mo said. I said that myself. Is Maatsen to come in for Alonso? If Jorginho did go, then it's going to be Declan Rice as his replacement. If Ziyech was to go,
Gallagher.
Yeah, Gallagher can replace him. Yeah, because he can play in multiple positions. So Gallagher for him. Yeah, and this won't happen, but this is my dream. If Werner was to go, then Haaland to come in.
Hold on. You have a dream that Werner should go?
If it means getting Haaland, then I'll sacrifice Werner.
I'll bring in DJ after you then. Yeah,
and Dortmund actually, they want 3 of our players, don't they? And here's a question for you guys afterwards: is because I know that there was talk about them wanting Werner, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and there was another player. I can't remember who the third player was. So there's 3 players. It may have been Ziyech, actually. Yeah. So I know these things 68 million, but if it meant us getting somebody like Havertz, would you sacrifice Werner? That's another question for the panel.
Yeah, Haaland. You mean Haaland?
Haaland, sorry.
Like Haaland.
Yeah, Haaland. Yeah.
I'll let DJ answer that.
No, in fact, sorry, Max. As it goes, it wasn't actually Ziyech. It was actually Pulisic. There were the 3 players.
Pulisic, that's it. Pulisic, that's it. Yeah.
What Haaland and Werner. Look, listen, I'm an advocate of Timo Werner, but in this situation, I'd say if we can stick with keeping Werner and bringing in Haaland, that would be great. But if we can't do that, that will be a tough one, mate. I probably would say, then it'll have to be done because, look, I've been an advocate of Timo Werner for on and I'll still stick with the guy, because I still think he's got such a talent. He's a talented player. But if this situation occurs where we cannot, where it has to be that one of those players has to be sacrificed, then obviously it looks like, from what I'm hearing, the talks are, from what I'm heard and what I'm hearing, they're the 3 players that they're looking at anyway, Dortmund. So I don't want Cho to go. That's 100%. I would rather Cho stay. Maybe consider Pulisic maybe in that because of his injury record. Maybe that could be an option. But again, like MDT said, he is a poster boy of American football. So that's another hard one. He sells his shirts as well. So it's a tough one, mate. It's a tough one to call on. But yeah, Werner has to be the one. It probably would be the one, isn't it, I guess?
Yeah. I want to ask this question to you guys. Feel free to jump in. Anyone can jump in. The question is worded in a weird way. If we can't buy a CDM, can we get Reece or Chalobah to play as CDM or play as a DM? Now, the thing is, I don't think we're actually looking to buy a CDM anymore. I know it was something we were looking at in the past. But today, with the emergence of Ruben Loftus-Cheek and, with the players we have in the team, I don't think we are looking. But if we were looking, I think we would buy one. Reece James and Chalobah can fill in that role, but I don't think they are good enough to play in that role consistently. Reece James, maybe Chalobah has done it consistently in the past. Reece James has done it as a bit part role in the past, not really consistently. But this is my opinion in regards to these 2 players. I want to know what the panel thinks in regards to Reece James and Chalobah to be relied upon as a CDM. Now, keep in mind this. If we do play Reece James as a CDM, then we don't have a right wing back. And if we do play Chalobah as a CDM, we will be one defender short. So what do you guys think we should do? Should we do we firstly need another centre defensive midfielder? And can we rely on these players to play in that position? Keeping in mind what I just said. Anyone can answer that question.
Well, we've got a CDM coming back, haven't we? In Billy Gilmore.
Yep.
So he'll be there. But as a makeshift, probably, but not somebody who's going to come in and play 7 or 8 games on a spin, for instance, because we've already seen that Reece James can play anywhere. That guy's just a natural footballer. Put him in central midfield, CDM, he won't let us down. Chalobah can do a job for now and again, but not on a regular basis for me. So, but I wouldn't rely on them over the course of the season to play in that position. And as you said, Baggy, playing Reece there is taking away that right back. Now you're seeing him fulfill his potential he always had it, but this season he's stepped up even a notch. So he's probably the best right back in the country at the moment. And something which was interesting, I was watching Sky today. He is the top performing player in the league, ahead of Mo Salah, ahead of Smith Rowe, ahead of everyone. He's top performing. I can't remember what stats they use some bomb ball stats or something. I can't remember what it's called, but he's the top performing player in the league at the moment.
Okay. Anybody else want to address that?
Yeah, I was going to say, Reece can play there, but he will limit his game. Chalobah can play there, he will not limit his game because he played there longer than Reece. Reece can play there because that's the difference. Because, when somebody played there longer, they know the position better than the other person. It's nothing to do with maybe if Reece played for a whole but Chelsea will not have time. But Chalobah, if Chalobah played that position, you see how Rice played? That's how Chalobah will be like if you're given the freedom. But the thing is, in Chelsea, you're not given that freedom. It's a bigger team than West Ham. So it's not the same. So people shouldn't expect Rice when he gets to Chelsea, who will play like how he played for West Ham. That's not going to be the case because he has to be a positional discipline in his position. He won't be allowed to just roam around you can't leave that position. Even Rubin is not allowed to leave it if somebody else is not coming. You check it. So people thinking that Rice will do what he's doing at West Ham at Chelsea. No, we saw Scott Parker. Scott Parker was the general for Charlton. He came to Chelsea. Chelsea told him, no, we don't need you to do everything. We just need you to cover for Makalele. And he wasn't happy about it. He went to Newcastle, he became the general again. He went to Tottenham, he was the general. To play for Chelsea, Real Madrid, Barcelona is different from playing for West Ham, Tottenham, and them lot. So it's different. So people should know that. So Rice coming to Chelsea, he will not be the same Rice you see. He's going to be like a simple mechanical player where you get the ball, do the right thing. Yeah. So that's why sometimes when they say 100 million, do I want to pay 100 million for that when I can take an academy player to do exactly what we want him to do? So that's the thing. Even Tchouaméni coming to Chelsea, we don't need Tchouaméni to be Tchouaméni is doing in Monaco, passing the ball, doing this running. No, we have Rubin, we have Kante, we have Jorginho, we have Gilmour, we have Kova, we have other players who can do that. So we need you to do a specific role. So do you want to pay 100 million for just a player to do a specific role? So that's what some fans don't get when teams like Chelsea is reluctant to pay that type of money.
Anybody else want to add anything before we move on to the next question? Go on, Couch.
First of all, I'm going to be controversial again. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm getting sick again, but I don't believe Billy's going to be back in the squad. I don't think he's coming back. I think his loans, like this decision to go on loan, is kind of like displaced him again. And the fact that he's not playing now on loan is even more telling, right? So he's fallen down the pecking order. And it goes back to what I was saying before too. Like you have to, if you go on loan, number one, you have to assert yourself and be, playing game in, game out, and putting in performances that keep you in the consideration when you come back to the squad. He's not doing that right now. Look at Conor Gallagher, a good example of that. A guy that we're all talking about wanting him back. Second of all, if you go out and tune in your loans, you just lose connection with the club, man. Like I know I said this before. Like when you look at Ampadu, like does anyone see a role for this guy right now? I don't see it. You know, like he's not in Tuchel's thoughts. Just 1 second, MDT. I know you're the academy expert. You're gonna be like, no, this guy has to play because he's doing this at Sheffield, and I get it, but like I don't necessarily see it yet. But aside from that, I don't know if have Chelsea really been making like combative number 6s or 8s. I don't think that we're really developing those types right now. So it feels like we have to go.
There's actually a question on this. No, there's actually a question on this. That I'm gonna address to MDT after you make your comment, and so continue. It's coming. The answer to the question is coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we have anyone really in the academy that is a combative to like ball winning midfielder. Like I don't know if we have anyone of that sort. So that's why the names Declan Rice and Tchouameni are being thrown around so much, because we don't really necessarily see a natural replacement in the squad. Even if we did give Billy Gilmore the opportunity to come back in, I don't see him as being that sort of a player. He's more of a Jorginho type, where he's kind of like trying to be the brain in the midfield. But again, I'm of the opinion that to have the complete complement of midfielders, like a real versatile robust midfield, I think we need to go back into the market and get somebody that's like a real ball winning like presence in there, like physical presence and whatnot. And that's, for me, it's Declan Rice or Tchouameni, but I would take Tchouameni just because I think he's more versatile.
All right, sweet. I've got 2 questions coming up. The first one is directed at MDT. I'll let him answer it. Then I'll let anyone follow it up if they have a response. And then I have a question from Boogeyman coming up after this, which should be quite interesting. So, MDT, a question for you. Do you really believe we have an academy player to replace Jorginho? And I will add to that, do you have an academy player that can replace Kante? Because what Kaush just said about a ball-winning player. So do we have that potential in the academy?
No, the reason why I raised my hand, I was going to agree with Couch about Gilmore, because that's the biggest mistake he made, going on that loan. It's put him back. I don't understand why he listened to his advisors. Sometimes you should be like, like players like Callum Hudson-Odoi was advised not to go on loan, and he refused to take any loan. He stayed at Chelsea. That's what he should have done when he was younger. Gilmore should have done the same thing. But the thing is with Gilmore, I have a little bit of hope, because if Tuchel stay, Tuchel know him. You know what he can do. And again, one player I thought he has ruined his career on going on loan is Ampadu. But right now, there is really a high rave about him in Italy. He's back in the fold. I'm telling you, if he continue this form he's doing for Venezia, he's back in the fold at Chelsea. But that's why Chelsea sent him there to play in midfield or 3 at the back. Nowhere else. And they agree. They play him in the position where Chelsea want him to. So Chelsea specifically told the team to play him where they want him to play. So that means they want him to try him somewhere in the midfield next year. So I don't know what else is going to happen. But he's been playing very well. When it comes to Jorginho's replacement in the academy, be honest with you, we don't have it. Gilmore is the closest thing we have to Jorginho. We don't have any that type of player. In the academy as well, when it comes to Kante's replacement, you can never replace Kante. There's no player like Kante in the world. He's never been created. It's never gonna happen again, because somebody with a nose to pick where a ball drops, that's unique. It's just like Makalele. There was one Makalele. After Makalele, it's finished. So Kante too is the same. Chelsea will have to change the way they play to accommodate the new midfielders whenever Kante leaves. So we certain players, you cannot replace them like for like. You have to just change the way. Like Lampard left, we didn't replace Lampard. We changed the way we play. So you can't replace these players. You just have to tweak what you get, arrange it that way.
All right, fair enough. Does anybody want to add something to what MDT said before I move to the next question? Are you guys good? All right, we're good. All right, next question is a controversial one. It's a controversial one, and I'm not sure if panelists are allowed to ask questions, man. I don't know. I mean, should we accept this question? I don't know. Let's do it. All right. Boogeyman is asking. We are on top of the league, meaning we can win the league. The question is, if we are overachieving, isn't it Tuchel risking being sacked if we don't finish top 4? So, we are currently top of the league, and if we don't finish top 4, will that be the end of Tuchel? Boogeyman, you're pushing your luck, mate. All right.
No, if we implode, then he will get a sack, and that's the end of the story. That's what happened to Frank.
Yep.
Frank was there, then he went on a bad run, and if we go on a bad run and it doesn't seem like we're getting out of the rut, he's going to go. Because
Chelsea
did you see that thing? There was something on Twitter the other day from Roman Abramovich. I'm not sure if you guys read it, when he said, "I don't care about what happened in your other clubs. All we need you to do is come and win trophies," and that's it. And that's what he expects of his managers. Bring in the trophies. I'm not sure about your past or whatever. You're bringing in the trophies. I'm happy. You stop bringing in the trophies, then we've got a talk. We've got a problem, and that's what it is. So Roman doesn't fire as quickly. He doesn't press the trigger as quickly as he used to, because I think he's giving people a bit more time. But once you see them going into some sort of rut, then he's going to go. Remember the last spell with Mourinho? He would have sacked him about 5 games before, the more ruthless Roman, but he gave him a little bit more time. With Frank Lampard, again, he was given that bit more time. When we knew it was obvious that Lampard wasn't going to turn things around, he got the bullet. So for the position we are now, if we go on a bad run and something happens, then no matter what he's done in the past, like Roberto Di Matteo and others, if he fails, then he's out the door.
I agree 100%. Anybody else have a different opinion?
No. Tell Boogeyman, say, if Tuchel don't finish top 4, even I want him out. So it doesn't mean Roman or anything. Top 4, there's no need to keep him, because that's crazy.
Yeah, especially with the teams at the moment, Tottenham and things like that.
The only thing about that situation is, I think everyone, if he was to go, Thomas Tuchel, he's just going to roll up at Manchester United, isn't he? And then that's what's going to happen. And then once again, I think he will.
No, because they will never sack Oli. So
you don't think they will sack Oli? They never.
Oli's there till 90.
I don't know, mate.
He's going to live there longer than Alex Ferguson.
Oli, man, he's got so many lives, man. I mean, any manager would have been kicked out of the country.
It's true. It's true. You know what? It's true. You're right on that one. They'll never sack him, will they?
So it's
but that's irrelevant anyway, because we're not going to finish outside the top.
Oli has some jujus. Oli definitely have some jujus. I don't know what the hell is going on there, but he has some jujus over there.
No, in regards to Tuchel, sorry, Max. In regards to Tuchel, I mean, what Max said is spot on. I think should we finish outside the top 4, we would, they would definitely reevaluate his future at the club. Depending on what else we achieve from the other competitions. But I think top 4 is a must, especially for us, especially for the season we're having. I mean, right now the position we're in. For us to drop out of the top 4, it would mean a disaster. It would mean a disaster. And like the rest of the guys said, I don't think that is something that will happen unless we have the misfortune of some crazy number of injuries, some crazy form problems. But we're on track to finish in the top 4. And to be fair, I think we're on track to be challenging for that title. Go on, Max.
And what MCIG just posted there, if he wins the Champions League, then obviously he stays, because obviously it's a trophy if we win the trophy. So, if we finish outside the top 4, but we deliver the Champions League again, then he's going to stay, because that's the biggest trophy out there, isn't it?
True. Guys in the chat, we have answered all of your questions, unless I've missed some. So,
can I ask a question?
Yes, you can. But before you do, we are on 55 likes, and we've had around 50 people in the chat throughout the whole stream. So I know some of you guys have not hit that like button yet. So please do us a favor and hit that like button. And if you're new to the Blue Lounge, consider subscribing. It would mean a ton to me. So if you're enjoying this the stream and enjoying the content that you're seeing on the Blue Lounge, do me the honor of having clicked on that subscribe button. Let's change that red button into a blue one. Max, you want to ask a question? Go ahead, mate.
Yeah, the question I was going to ask. I'm not sure if all of you have heard the news today about Chelsea being granted permission for standing area at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
They're one of 4 clubs.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, one of 4 clubs who've been granted
Sweet.
permission for a standing area at Stamford
Sweet.
Bridge. So I just wanted to find out what you guys thought of that, with it, how it was add to the atmosphere and everything else. Could we potentially bring in more supporters as well?
Do we know?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Do you know any more information about the stand, DJ? All I heard is that we're granted. It was going to be a trial at the moment. It's 4 clubs.
That's
right. Arsenal.
Can you explain what is that? We're
going to be having a standing area at Stamford Bridge. We're being granted a safe standing area. So
people can just stand there and like
back to the old days when we used to have terrace rather than all seated stadium. So that way, obviously, it would improve the atmosphere because you can have all the singers stand together. Probably to get more people in because you won't have the seated area. So we can get more revenue that way.
By the Tom Hardy or by the Shed End, I think it'll be one of those.
Yeah, Matthew Harding maybe across.
Do you know who are the other clubs that got the same permission?
There was I think it was Arsenal. The 4 of us, Manchester United. Was it Man U and Arsenal and somebody else?
Yeah,
Liverpool declined because they said they got another experiment going on at the moment. So.
I think Man City is one of them.
Liverpool still have that bad experience. I think it'd be hard to see it happening there.
Who were the 4?
I've got them in here. I'm just reading it on the Chelsea fifth stand app here. It's got here the other clubs approved as early adopters are Cardiff City, Manchester City, Manchester United, and Tottenham Hotspur.
Man City don't even fill their stadium, so I don't know how they're going to.
That's it's come up on. It's off the fifth stand, by the way, Max.
Full with 12 years old.
If they stand up, it might look like it's full, isn't it? So that's what we're doing.
True. You get some cardboard man standing up there.
You're gonna see 12 years old standing up there.
Sorry.
The reason why Man City don't fill their stadium. Sorry.
No, go on.
It's because of their they are the working man's club in Manchester. They're really, really poor. A lot of poor people support them. So
yeah, but I heard the tickets are kind of cheap as well. It's like £20, £30.
Yeah, they're very, very cheap. They're like sometimes they advertise their ticket on our local radios or whatever here. So
buy one get one free as well. Buy one get one free. Get 2 for the
kids.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, when they have some Champions League games or whatever, kids go free. Even my kids, sometimes they give them free tickets. But I don't support City, so I don't go with them. They give them free tickets to go and watch games.
You know,
I gotta push off, boys. I'm just gonna say my goodbyes now. I gotta go pick up my kid. But,
all right, Couch. Take care, brother.
Stay
warm.
Are we doing anything soon?
Next couple of days. I'll probably do something next couple of days.
Cool. All right, you guys take care of yourselves.
Peace, bro. Peace.
Take care, brother.
Cheers,
Take care. Cheers. What was I going to say? Lost my train of thought.
Was it something to do with the standing?
No, not Man City. When is this going to actually be trialed? Do we know?
Let's have a look. I'm just reading the fifth stand. Let's see. It says, early adoptive license stays standing from the 1st of January 2022.
Okay. All right. I'm guessing
it's been approved.
Different ticket prices for them, innit?
I think they will do. Yeah.
There'll be different ticket prices for them. Listen, guys. Anyone want to add anything before we wrap this up? Because
just one question I've got for you guys. Just one. It only is. I don't know if you guys read anything yesterday about. Obviously, you guys know this is going on to a different football club. As you know, what's his name's now the new manager of Newcastle now. Yeah, Eddie Howe. Yeah.
Eddie Howe.
Did you hear the news that Michael Manalo may be going there as well? As director?
Yes, I heard.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that, lads? Give me your thoughts on that. Yes, it's a good point.
The thing is, I don't want him to go and do anything good there. I want him to destroy the club. But
of course, mate, 100%.
no, I'm being honest with you.
No, it's true. I agree.
Because he has a blueprint. Okay, his first blueprint. If Jose Mourinho didn't break it up, Chelsea would have dominated English football for like 10 years. But Jose Mourinho come in and dismantle everything, because Jose Mourinho was the one to get rid of Mo Salah, De Bruyne, Lukaku the first time, Oscar into defensive player, change the whole system. And the second one was the academy, and now we benefiting from it. Okay, so imagine if he went Newcastle with all this money and he goes and put that blueprint there. It's in 10 years, not now, but in 10 years, 15 years, they will give us hard time. I want them to suffer. I want them to have the money and mess it up. I don't want them to have the money and take our blueprint like City did. I don't want that. So that's my take with it. So I don't want to wish him well. I just want to wish him to have good health, but not well.
But the question is, okay, for me, okay, that's he was looking after our sort of development side and the youth side, and obviously bringing in these players with future potential. But what's he like at running the whole club? Because as director of football, he's got to be in charge of everything, like the hiring and firing of managers, as well, recommendations for the managers. How is he in that aspect of the game, rather than just the development side of things?
He didn't get along with Jose Mourinho, because he was given, like, he was the one that pushing. When Jose Mourinho won certain players, he will ask to say, why don't you check first in the academy? And there was a time Jose Mourinho even told Chelsea that there's no need. The academy should be just so get the players and sell them and use that money to improve the first team. And they clash big time on that. Big time. And so he's not very good with managers, because managers don't want you to tell them, say, oh, no, instead of buying, why don't we use this? You understand? So he didn't have a good relationship with Mourinho, definitely. So I don't know another manager, but he didn't. They clash a lot. So I don't know. So he might.
Someone like Eddie Howe, he may work with, because Eddie Howe's more someone who will look at developing players rather than bringing in ready-made stars. So that may be a good match made in heaven. But I'm thinking about down the line, when if they get a big name manager, how he. If they get a big name manager, how would he get on with them? What sort of relationship? You never know. They may try and bring in Mourinho in a couple of seasons' time. Once they get successful, they'll probably bring in Mourinho so they can have a nice.
That's what I want. I want Mourinho to go there and flush and bonnet.
He's already put himself out for that job, and he's already said some. I've heard he's already made some comments about that. He seems to always he's always big up Newcastle every time he talks about him.
He will go there. He will go to Newcastle because he's a man who likes the checkbook, isn't he? He's a checkbook manager, so he'll go there because he's already burned his bridges at Roma, isn't he? So he'll be there in a couple of seasons' time.
Lads, we have a question here from Boogeyman. Boogeyman is he's working overtime in the chat today. He's asking, will John Terry be a better manager than Frank? Now there's a couple of factors here. I mean, John Terry, I believe he has done all of the badges. He's done all the training. He's had a long stint as an assistant manager at Villa, while Lampard had most of his training on the job at Derby and then at Chelsea. So it's a tough question, because we're saying, will he be a better manager? Are we asking, will he achieve more? Answer whichever way you want, and I'm going to ask this question to all of you. And I'm going to start with Julius, because I think Julius is back. Julius, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
All right, can you kick us off with this question, mate?
I don't think we can tell 100% whether he's going to be better or not.
Of course.
But I would say John Terry, I think, has been taking it slow. He's taking his time to study the game and to learn. Also, you have to take into consideration, I think there is one thing which, in my opinion, that John Terry would definitely be better than Lampard in one aspect of his management, is that man management. and that is because John Terry is an exceptional captain and leader. So that is gonna be unbelievable. Because look at Maldini. Sorry, what's his name? Ancelotti, who coached Maldini before and coached Ramos and many of these great captains across Europe. He said John Terry is something else. So in terms of man management, Terry is gonna. I think players would die for him on the pitch. In that aspect, tactically, we have to see. But yeah,
Yeah. Mo?
Yeah, Julian is hit the nail on the head there. John Terry, when it comes to relationship with people, whether it's as the young academy player, whether it's Chalobah, whether it's Christensen, whether even Tero Minks, they all said it. Anybody you ask is a very, very good people passing when it comes to dealing with them. With everything the media is saying, it's totally different with people that around him, like whether it's teammates or young in the academy. They all said very, very good things about him. So that alone, even an Aston Villa's assistant, he was very, very good. He was the guy that used to take all the players when they're struggling, help them out and things like that. So that alone is an advantage because Ancelotti and Zidane, they're not tactical masters like Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola. It's their people skills because players who are ready to die for them. So if you surround yourself with good coaches and you have the people's management skills like they do, you will do good. But tactical-wise, we don't know that. So it's up to him to surround himself with the right people. But when it comes to man management, I don't think John Terry will have issues with players like Lampard did. I don't think so.
All right. People in the chat, we're still on 63 likes. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Come on, let's get to 100 likes. Come on, there's like 40 of you in the chat. Everyone hits that like button. We'll get to 100 likes. We can do it. Let's do it before the end of the stream. We've got about 5 more minutes before we end the stream, so let's do it. Max Burton, will John Terry be a better manager than Frank Lampard?
Yeah, I think Mo, but he stole what I was going to say, really. He is a very good motivator. You know, he learned it from Dennis Wise, if anyone knows what happened with Dennis Wise. Dennis Wise used to get the team together and have little games nights around his house and everything else. John Terry continued that. So whenever any of the foreign players came in, that's why we had that togetherness, that team spirit and that comradeship when Jose Mourinho was our manager. Okay, he doesn't miss, as probably Mo would know about this as well. He doesn't miss. He didn't when he was at Chelsea. He never missed a youth game. Whenever Chelsea youth were playing, he was there. He knew everything. You ask any of the youth players about him, and they would say, "Look, he was the one who always took time to talk to me, to ask me how my game was, to improve my game, or whatever." So man management, second to none. Julius, I think, said this as well. Excellent man management. I don't know what he's like as a tactician. Obviously, he worked with Dean Smith as well. So I think where he may be better is because he started at the bottom. He hasn't jumped in straight away. He's learned. He's sort of taken up roles as assistant manager first, and he's taken his time over his first job, of his first big job. So I just think that he may have more about him than Frank. But as I said, we don't know. Only time will tell. Because Frank's a very intelligent man as well, you know. But Frank let himself down, didn't he? Team.
Like we said at the start, I'm not sure if you were here earlier. We were talking about the wise man and the experienced man. And the experienced man is always better than the wise man. So I think Frank Lampard's experience is different than John Terry's experience. But I think John Terry had a more hands-on he had more of a partnership experience rather than a hands-on experience. So it will vary. I'm going to bring in DJ Sav, and then we're going to end with one question from RJ. RJ from It's a Football Thing podcast. It's good to have you in the chat. We will answer your question before we end the stream. So DJ,
DJ, sorry, Baker, just before staying on the John Terry theme. Do you know he's on Twitter now? everyone?
Yes. I will not follow him until he follows me first. So
get him to join the Blue Lounge crew.
Get him to join the Blue Lounge.
Get him on.
John Terry, if you're listening, I would love to have you on this channel at some point. So big up to you. DJ, go on.
Yeah, listen, echoing everything everyone has said in the stream, MDT, Max, Julius, Youssef as well, Mo. Yeah, I think he's going to be a great manager. I think we know as a player what he brought to the football club, what he brought as a leader, his leadership skills. You know, the guy is just, the players are going to want to play for him, and like Max has just said, he won't stand for crap either. He won't stand for it. If you know, players will respect him, and I think he'll be a very good manager. And I think he will be. I mean, don't get me wrong, Lampard is a good manager, but I just think Terry's just got a little bit more about him in terms of leadership and in terms of players knowing him more. Knowing as well. I mean, you saw that Aston Villa, didn't you? I think we saw the relationship he had with the players there when he was Dean Smith's number 2 there. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So for me, yeah, he'll definitely be a great manager.
Yeah, I wish them both all the success in the world.
Yeah.
Frank Lampard and John Terry are legends of the club, and I want to see them both be more successful than the other. I want to see them both win the Premier League titles, Champions League titles. I want to see them successful, and hopefully one of them can manage England and get an international trophy one day. So big up to both of them. We have a question here from RJ. We did address this question to a certain degree, but I want to give it a little bit more focus in respect to these two individuals rather than the midfield in general. RJ is asking, given the strong form of Gallagher and considering the likes of Billy Gilmour on loan, do you think Chelsea will pursue any midfielder next season? If so, who? So, will these guys come back and be part of the team, or will we be looking elsewhere? Take it away, lads.
Gallagher, most definitely. Gallagher's done so much over his 2 loan spells, actually, at West Bromwich Albion and Crystal Palace, to prove that he's worthy of a spot in Chelsea's play. He's been a player of the Premier League for that week, for that game week 11 and game week 10. I think he was an outstanding player out of all the players in the Premier League. He reminds me of, he's got a bit like Mason Mount. He's got his energy. He's got strong in the tackle, great delivery, but I think he's actually a better finisher than Mason Mount. And he's got that will and the desire to play at the highest level as well. I do like his infectiousness on the pitch, the way he gets about. And as Usyk, someone who mentioned him as being a pest today, in a nice sort of way, people hate him because he's always, he's pressing. He triggers the press, similar to what Mason Mount does. He triggers the press. So he is a dream for Tuchel and the way that Tuchel wants to play. Can you imagine him and Mason Mount in the same side at what now and again playing? Against like a Manchester City. Do you see the way he bossed Manchester City the other day?
Yes.
He's got the physique as well. The guy's 6 foot, so he's got physique. So I think he's probably put himself ahead of Billy Gilmour at the moment on performances so far. And I think Thomas Tuchel will probably bring him back next season. There is going to be a midfielder. Again, it's going to be somebody that has to leave before we bring somebody else in, I think. And that area, what we're talking about, he's a different player, isn't he? Billy Gilmour's a different player to Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher's more like a box-to-box, Billy Gilmour holding player. So I don't think we'll buy another box-to-box player. I think we may buy another holding player, depending on what happens with the 3 that we've got at the moment.
And to be fair to Gallagher, he can play as a 6 as well as an 8 and maybe even a 10. So he is versatile. He's very similar to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I'll bring in Mo on the Gilmour-Gallagher dilemma.
Yeah, I think the way things are going now, I don't see Chelsea will use both of them next season, and midfield will not be our issue next year, because if we have Gallagher and Billy, even if we buy in anybody, we will have to lose another person. And I don't see Chelsea spending this crazy amount of money that people think we're going to. I think we're gonna use both of them next year. I think so. And if we're gonna use money, anything else is somewhere else. Unless we lose one of the midfielders, but these two are coming back.
Yeah, I think Billy Gilmour, his lack of performance has not really been down to him. It's been the lack of opportunity with Norwich, and maybe towards the second part of the season he'll get more playing time depending who starts to manage Norwich, and maybe he can turn it around and come back and fight for his spot in the team. Julius, your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think Gallagher has done so much to improve himself. He should definitely be part of our team. Regarding Billy Gilmour, I have a soft spot for him, and I do rate him very highly personally. I think he has all the elements to be also a start. To start for us, or at least contribute as a sub. But that doesn't change the fact that we still have to look at options outside of what we have already in midfield. And for me, as I've always mentioned, I would like Declan Rice back to Chelsea. Looking at Kante's age and injury record recently. Also looking at Jorginho's age. Next year he'll be closing on 30 years old. Time flies. So I think having Gallagher, Declan Rice, Billy Gilmour as our next three midfielders I think that should be the case. Would be absolutely phenomenal to have three academy players as part of our main midfield. I would love it.
Yeah, it's just how much will we be paying for Declan Rice? That is my only concern. If West Ham are still having this, what's the word here? Exaggerated price tag, it might be difficult, but we'll see. DJ, your thoughts on this question?
Yeah, for me, Conor Gallagher. I mean, both of them, I think, were about the two who's got more of a chance. I think it'd probably be more Conor Gallagher. Yeah. I think we've all seen what he's done so far at Crystal Palace and how he's been for the last couple of loans that he's gone on. I can see him for sure coming back into the team next season. Billy Gilmour, like Julius, I have a soft spot for him as well. I really hope he can come back next season and get the opportunities to, because I think he deserves the opportunity to come in. And as we just said, he's not getting game time at Norwich. It's not his fault. Unfortunately, it's the way he was managed by the former manager. This is why I think maybe Lampard maybe going in there as a manager could help that. I really think if he goes in there as a manager, if he gets the Norwich job, I think Billy Gilmour will get the game time he deserves. And I think if he does well in the last half of the season, I think he's got more of a chance. Again, got a great chance of coming back next season to play in that midfield. And as we said, Jorginho possibly could. He's 30 years old. He could possibly go. And I can't see Saul Niguez staying personally. I don't think he's had the greatest of starts at Chelsea with his career. I can see him heading back. So there may be a position that could be available, or one or two, as I said, if Jorginho goes as well. So yeah, I mean, I can see both of them coming back. But for me, Gallagher more than Gilmour.
Yeah, totally agree. Listen, people, RJ is one of the founders and the hosts of the It's a Football Thing podcast. I would recommend you check it out. Some great content on there, especially if you're a Chelsea, Man United, or an Arsenal fan. They have 3 panelists from those 3 different clubs, so there's a good focus on those 3 clubs in particular and the Premier League in general. So big up to RJ. I hope you have the best of luck with your channel, mate, and we will see you on this one pretty soon, hopefully. Lads, it's been a great stream. Let me just have a look at the likes. 69 likes. Are you guys trolling me? Seriously, 69 likes? Make it 68 or 70. I mean, dislike or just don't keep it at 69. That's just trolling. Everyone who's joined us in the stream, in the chat, big up to you. Everyone who's joined in the panel, big up to you. It's been a fantastic evening. We will be doing an upload every other day during the international break. We will try to give you a varied content depending on what stories are breaking. I mean, I'm gonna guess that Erling Haaland to Chelsea story will be happening over the next couple of days. It's about the right time frame. A couple of days after the international break starts, young Arg Foytoff will be coming out and saying Erling Haaland this and that, and we'll be making a stream about that. We'll be talking probably about a defender being linked with Chelsea over the next couple of days, and then we'll be talking about the contract extension. That's how normally it breaks down over the international break, if you've been following it. So we'll see, but we will give you content as and when it breaks. So I'll see you guys hopefully.
I've just given you your 70th, mate. So there you go.
Go on, say again.
I've just given you your 70th.
My 70th. Oh, all right. 73 now. 73 now.
73. Okay.
Hold on, Max. So you've been here for a whole hour, yeah, and you just like to stream now? You serious, man?
Listen. I'm on StreamYard, so I have to go on my phone and do it on there. For some reason, I can't do it straight on there. Yeah,
it's true. I'll lay you off, mate. I'll lay you off. Guys, I'll see you all in the next stream. Take care. Have a good night and peace.